Okay, where to begin? Tekken is probably one of the well-known fighters of today, coming in second to Street Fighter, probably. Don't quote me on that before all the fighting game purists come at me. But I remember the first time I played Tekken, it was on a friend's PSP PlayStation Portable, and it was Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, and my main was Jin. Fun times. So when I finally got my PSP, I had Tekken 6 and Lars became my main because he was quite easy to use. But when I finally began to learn the game properly, I went back to Jin because he felt more technical and he could be a heavy hitter when he needs to. I think the appropriate term is Shoto. See, I'm not a fighting game expert, so I might be spouting rubbish to the fighting game experts, but that's not what we are here for, are we? We are here for the new animated show on Netflix, Tekken Bloodline. Tekken Bloodline is an animated show of the fighting video game franchise of the same name. Tekken, or Iron Fist, follows the story of Kazuya Mishima, who tries to get revenge on his father, Heihachi Mishima, for probably being the worst dad of all time. This dude literally dropped his 5-year-old son off a cliff, bro. Fast forward, Kazuya had a son of his own, Sasuke. Just kidding, I mean Jin. I always wanted to make that joke, and it sounded way better in my head.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, moving on. The show's visuals actually look good and kinda weird sometimes, but I like it, it's different. The show comprises of both 2D and 3D animations used together to create a somewhat seamless experience. The 3D scenes are very well animated, but in certain aspects it kinda looks a bit stiff if not wonky, because the 3D models are used for precise movements and camera angles, which would be a drag to animate properly. And it works most of the time, but in certain scenes it just makes them look very rigid. You tend to realize you're looking at a 3D model rather than an animation, which, I don't know, might just be what they were going for, because I think it was advertised generally as a 3D animated show with 2D animation supplements, so you probably knew what you were going to get, because they seem to pride themselves in having the ability to rotate the camera to give it a kind of 360 rotation effect for certain scenes, which would most likely have been a hassle to animate, but a great way for showing off the techniques, just like they do in the games, of course. I don't know if you noticed, but you might have caught the way they render their shadows. It's just a triangle shade on the character. First, I thought it was a polygon thing, and that's just an effect of the light source creating a shadow on the polygon, but I came to find out that it was actually a stylistic choice. And when I noticed it, I couldn't stop looking at it, kinda distracting me from fully immersing myself into the show. But I gotta say, the show did incorporate certain elements of the game to give you that Tekken experience. People who have played the game know what I'm talking about, but if you are new, let me point out exactly what I'm referring to. For example, Jin and Heihachi have this electric effect thing in certain stances or when they throw super hard punches or attacks, which is very reminiscent of the game. You can also see the hit effect when characters perform hits that connect, and when a character performs a block, there's this whitish effect that shows that the move has been guarded, which is pretty cool and had no business being in the show, but it was a fun nod to the source material and I really did appreciate that. The series also added a sort of whitish flashlighting effect to make certain attacks more epic, sometimes even drag out certain moves for you to feel the impact. The thing that actually put a smile on my face by far was how they were actually able to put in their signature moves into the show. Like some of the iconic moves, combos, and throws from the games all make an appearance here. Take Jin's Omen stance for example. In the games, when Jin does the Omen stance, he temporarily switches to a Mishima fighting style or a style similar to Heihachi. I really appreciate this now because we are shown that Heihachi was the one who trained Jin after his mom's death. Him changing from I think to be a Kazama style to a Mishima style is just really good. Mwah, chef's kiss. Because as we see in the series, when he is put in a dilemma or certain dire situations, he remembers the lessons from his mother and or Heihachi, which steals his conviction and pushes him to come out on top of each battle. So, if you want to recreate that in the game, just use an Omen stance or mental alertness. As much as I would like to go in depth and talk to you about every little Easter egg or callback from the game, unfortunately, I'm just a casual. You could probably beat me in a 1v1, but what I do know is The story. This animated series loosely adapts the events of Tekken 3. It follows Jin Kazama, the child of Jun Kazama and Kazuya Mishima. If you have any basic knowledge about Tekken, you probably know who they are, so no spoiler warning here. Jun tries to train Jin in the Kazama style martial arts and teachings in order to be disciplined and probably not end up like his father. But when they were attacked by a mysterious creature known as Ogre, Jun died protecting Jin, but told him to seek out his grandfather, Heihachi Mishima. Heihachi then trained Jin in the Mishima-style martial arts, which did have some contradictory teachings to the style he was brought up with. For example, he was told never to attack unless he's attacked, and certain stances and moves Jun used seemed very passive, kinda like judo, I think, whereby you use the opponent's strength against them. But with Mishima's style, he was taught to attack full force, to use his rage and desire for revenge to build himself and his strength and use them as a weapon. No mercy, just precise hits and attacks. So, as I said earlier, when he gets put in a dilemma, he has to choose whom he wants to listen to. His mother's teachings and spare his opponent, or his grandfather's words and be merciless. A similar moment happened at the ending of Tekken 4 where Jin defeated Kazuya and Heihachi, and just when he was about to end his life, he had a flashback of his mother and decided to spare his life. So while watching this anime, you can kinda understand at least why he decided to spare the life of some of his opponents. Lastly, and this is a slight spoiler for those who haven't played the games yet, so skip to this part right here. Okay, lastly, I just wanted to point out that Heihachi shooting Jin will always be funny for me no matter where I see it. It's so funny and dumb because Heihachi is someone who prides himself as someone who can go against bullets, literally. So him using a gun against Jin just feels so off and funny. I can't help but laugh every time I see it. I really can't take that part seriously. But funny enough, this is actually essential to the story because Heihachi killing Jin is what makes him give in to his demons and finally activating his devil gene, so it actually backfired on him, big time. So, that's Tekken Bloodline. If you're a fan of the video games then, this is a must watch, if not for anything, just for the experience. It's a fun watch as a lover of the video game. I hope we get a season 2, maybe finally get to see Kazuya. I pray this is not a one-time thing, but with that said, what do you guys think of Tekken Bloodline? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, share it with all your Tekken friends out there, and subscribe to my channel for all things anime. And always remember to keep moving forward.